My next guest is going to be competing for the Bellator middleweight title this Friday at Bellator 264 against champion Gegard Mousasi. It is John Salter joining me here on the program. John, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Really excited to see you get this opportunity, man. It's been a long time coming. You've had a really good record. I wanted to know, when did you find out about this fight? Because I know, speaking to Gegard, this fight, I believe, was targeted a little bit earlier, but now here we are talking about a fight in August.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I believe it was maybe February when, I was originally told about it and what we were going to do at the beginning of the summer, and then it had to get pushed back to August. So I've known about it for quite a while, and here we are.
What does it mean to get this title shot? I talked about it there. People haven't seen your resume. I mean, you fought in the UFC. You've had a very good record in Bellator. Like, after all this time you put into the sport, what does it mean to finally fight for a major championship like this?
It's huge. I finally get a chance to show, what I can do, and, to be able to fight a guy like Gegard and really cement my spot in the sport is going to be huge.
And if I'm not mistaken, first-time father, right? I noticed, I was looking on your Instagram, you just became a dad. We've seen Dad Donald Cerrone perform well in the cage. Is that a thing for you? Are you feeling a little bit different going into this fight?
I don't think that really makes a difference. It's been great, loved every minute of it. But I kind of separate everything at home from the fight, once it's time to get out here. So
now I got to ask, as a fellow dad, I have a 3-year-old. Now, do you take the night shift or the morning shift? Like, how do you balance your schedule with your little one? Because for me, I'm up early and I work a little bit, sort of later into the evening, but my wife does the overnight. So that's how we did it.
Yeah, that's right now. My wife's been doing all the overnight stuff, since I've got a fight coming up. But honestly, we're the luckiest people. We got the one baby that sleeps through the night.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool.
So, it hasn't been too bad until she actually just got sick this last week. So it was the first week that it's really been anything hard.
Let's talk about Gegard Mousasi. He's fought the who's who. He's been in the sport for a long time. Just before we talk about the style matchup, just preparing for a guy like Gegard, there's a lot of tape on him. Does that make it a little bit easier as opposed to, say, a newcomer or someone that you're not familiar with?
Yeah, in a way, because, there's not a whole lot of question of what he's going to do. And but at the same time, he does it well and he doesn't make mistakes. So while it's nice to know what he does, and to be able to see that, just knowing he's a guy that's been around forever, nothing gets him rattled, and nothing's going to make him make bad decisions.
Are there any past opponents that remind you of Gegard in terms of the style matchup?
Realistically, I don't think I've ever fought anybody that's going to make the kind of decisions he makes. He doesn't make bad decisions. Everybody that I've ever fought, there's really been ways to exploit what they do, but that's not really going to be the case with Gegard. Basically, the thing with him is, you can't get lulled into a fight, his fight pace. And if you get put in his fight pace, you can't beat him. And so, it's all about keeping him on his back foot, not letting him dictate what he wants to do.
I've interviewed a number of your training partners. First time I've had a chance to speak to you. All speak very highly of you. I was curious who you got to work with for this camp specifically in terms of bodies in the gym.
A lot of guys, because kind of like what we just talked about, there's no Gegard Mousasi out there that you grab and say, okay, let's train and get ready for this. So you got to kind of put it together for everything. I've got Jamie Pickett, who's in the UFC, who's got an incredibly good, fast, long jab, like Gegard has. And Jamie does, a lot of other good stuff too. But that's been really helpful. I've got Trey Woods, who's got a really good right hand that he throws really long. And so that's kind of, a good guy to rotate into my sparring sessions. I've been at Gym O a good bit with Brian Barberina, who's a really tricky fighter, even though he didn't have the build Gegard has. He's really tricky with his striking, and everything comes from different angles. So that's been really good to see. Joe Selecki, even though he's not my weight class, we do our cardios together, so that's huge for me. But the other thing is, on the ground, I'm bigger than Joe, but Joe's so good. He's always moving on the ground. It's hard to stick him in the spots. It's been really good for that. And then, my main training partner that I use for everything, Corey Crumpler, he's just he does a really good job of mimicking what people do in all kinds of positions. So a lot of training with him. And then working Chris Honeycutt in there a pretty good bit too.
Oh, nice.
Wrestling he has, it's been great. So
that's excellent. How long have you been training with Chris? I know he's been all over the place, but obviously a high-level wrestler, getting to work with him.
Yeah, Chris and I trained together for years in California, and then when he started looking for a place to move, we got him here in North Carolina, right outside of Charlotte. So that's nice. And I go train in Charlotte, about half the week during training camp. So it's really good to have him there too. Another good wrestling push. We got Tom Lane there, who's also a Division I All-American. So we got some good wrestlers there.
Good to hear, man. That's great. Gegard's got a bit of a layoff coming into this fight. I don't know if you believe in ring rust or, in this case, cage rust. Do you think that's going to be a factor for him coming in?
No, I don't think so. And I've had a longer layoff than he has because we've known this fight was coming, so just waiting for it, But I don't think that really matters, maybe, a little bit of nerves or something might affect you a little bit early. But I think other than that, it's just business as usual, especially for him. As many fights as he's had, I don't think anything's going to rattle him.
Who's going to be in the cage with you as far as your cornerman?
Well, I've got Jeff Jimmo from Jimmo, who's my head coach. And I got Chris Barnheiser and Corey Crumpler, who have been longtime training partners and just help me with everything I do.
How's the fight playing out on Friday? How do you see it unfolding?
Obviously, I'm always looking for a finish. I'd love to finish him, but I think he's a guy that he's not going to go away easy. So there's a real possibility that it's just a 5-round battle, and getting my hand raised at the end of 5 rounds.
What would it mean to win that middleweight title? We talked about sort of the long road getting here. After everything you've done, what would it mean? I'm sure you visualized it of getting that strap around your waist.
It just means everything I've ever done is worth it. Either way, everything's been great. I've been very blessed in my career. But, at the end of the day, we do this for titles, and for, medals, in wrestling and everything. That's what I'm looking for here. I want another title to my name, and this is going to be it this weekend.
I know you're not looking past August 13th, but I was curious to ask Gegard this as well, as far as who you think gets the winner of this fight. Do you think it's going to be Austin Vanderford? He hasn't lost. Is there any? I don't know if you pay attention to the rankings or even worry about that, but is it something you've thought of at all?
Yeah, I think the other best guy in the division is Costello Vanstinas.
Right,
but
But you beat him. That's what I was going to say. That's why I brought up Austin. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of out. And then him and Gegard, are training partners. So it'll probably end up being Austin, but I definitely think Vanstinas is the next best guy in the division.
Absolutely. Downtime. I know you're being a dad. That takes up a good chunk of it, but are you getting in any Netflix or anything outside of training as far as, taking it easy?
Lately, especially prepping for a 5-round fight, I feel like it's been train, go home, crash, get up and go train, go home and crash. So haven't done a whole lot. Been trying to get on the water a little bit.
It's beautiful that time of year where you're at, right? It's really good. Yeah, in the summer.
Yeah, so try to do that some, but really the past 8 to 9 weeks has just been full speed training camp, and haven't necessarily got as much play time as I would like.
What about this week in the hotel room? I know you're doing media. I know you're got to do some training or whatever, but you getting in any video game time or anything like that during the week?
Not a whole lot of video game time. I don't play a lot of video games, but movie time's nice, and just time to, running a gym, training all the time. I also sell real estate, so I don't ever really get time to just lay down and relax for very long. Mm-hmm. So it's really nice to have a week where I don't have anywhere I got to be.
That's interesting. I didn't know that you sell real estate. Is that something that you do even with a fight like this, or is it you sort of put this on pause and then sort of go back into it after this fight?
I stay very light when I have a fight coming up. I might work with one client at a time when I've got a fight coming up. Just make sure I don't want to be dropping the ball for anybody buying a house, and at the same time, I can't step away from training, so I can kind of pick it back up when I get back home after this fight.
Do you think you're a better realtor than Ally Aquinta?
I guess we'll
have to find out. See who's made more sales up for the month. We should tally it up and see what happens there, right? So that'd be good. John, thanks so much for the time, man. We're really looking forward to this fight. It's Bellator 264, August 13th on Showtime. I know you got some sponsors. I know you got some shout outs. I'm sure you got some social media to plug as well. I'll give you the last word here.
I appreciate it. You can find me on John Salter MMA on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. I had great sponsors for this one. Richland Building Partners in Nashville, Tennessee. Oak Grove Technologies based out of Raleigh, North Carolina. And then some great local sponsors in Wilmington with Jimmy's in Wrightsville Beach. Clean Eats, which is where I get my meal prepping done. All Pro Nutrition, great way to stay healthy. And then obviously my gear sponsor is Phalanx, who makes the best no-gi gear.